to talk to you today about a deal that we did for seller financing with principal-only payments, and also did it inside of our LLC that's owned by our IRA. So a couple things for you to go over. I want to go over the numbers with you, but then I want to talk to you a little bit about the LLC owning the IRA. Maybe it's going to be a whole separate video, but I'll at least give you a taste for what this is like. So the property was on the market, and if you need to reference this when you call or we do a strategy call together, just reference 174 Fran. Okay? Property was on the market for $280. We paid $280. We offered to sell at $280. The seller had his dad had recently passed away. In fact, when we started talking to him, he was in a nursing home. The seller lives in this property. It's a 6-unit, and he just didn't want to run it anymore. He's traveling all over creation. So I tell you that to say this: the motivation on these leads is key, not just the numbers. The motivation, because people will look at this deal, and you probably will when I'm done, and say, "Well, why would they do that?" Because they don't want to deal with it. So no debt on it. Here's what we offered him. And by the way, on a 4-unit and up, you use a commercial Excel spreadsheet to determine the cash flow with the debt service and everything else. And if it's not posted here on this with this video or next to it, then just email support@smartrealestatecoach.com and ask him for the support for the commercial spreadsheet for 174 Fran. And we'll get it off to you so you can see how it's analyzed. And I'm also happy to send you the HUD-1. Here's what happened. So we offered this gentleman $1,223 per month. Now, without boring you with all the expenses, when you get done taking in all the rents in this 6-unit, and you pay out all the expenses with buffers for occupancy, vacancy, with buffers for maintenance, when all those things happen, because those burps are going to come, those curveballs are going to come, the cash flow on this, so this is the out, right? The cash flow on this is a positive, I think it's like $1,140, give or take. You'll see that on the spreadsheet if you request it. So $1,140 a month goes straight into the IRA-owned company that's tax-free, obviously, and continues that way. Now, on this particular property, this payment goes against this 100% principal, and we got 36-month terms. So let's look at this. What are the simple, safe, and secure exits here? We gave the owner back a first mortgage for $275,000. It's actually, I'm going to round it, well, let's say $275,000. The ironic thing here is we paid him a $1,000 deposit, okay, out of our IRA-owned LLC, and then at the closing, instead of coming to the closing with 4 more, we didn't have to, because with the prorations and the rents he owed us and the securities and all that he had to turn over to us at closing, he would have ended up owing us a lot of money. As it was, he cut a check at closing into this IRA for $7,100. So think about that. We bought a 6-unit building that cash flows this per month. We put $1,000 down and walked away at closing with a little over $7,100. You'll see that on the HUD-1. So 36 months later, what's the balance on this mortgage? Well, I'm going to round it just because we'll be here doing math, but it's like, I don't know, 37, call it 40,000. So less 40,000 here, we're at 235 that's due on or before 36 months. So what are our exits here? 1, we can try to sell it ahead of time, ahead of this term, call the owner and say, look, I know you got 275 less the payments coming. But if you'll discount it, we can get you the money now. I can tell you that this gentleman would if we wanted to do that. We may do that at month 24. I don't know. We'll see. That's one option. Second option, 36 months comes, we do a refinance, which I don't love to do. We typically do not go on loans and do not sign personally. But we could do a refinance on this, pay him out, and then keep this property, especially if it proves itself over 24 to 36 months, right? Third option, and really the way we set these up to do, is to say, look, if we get a 36-month balloon, at about month 25-ish, we're going to put it on the market. That's what we'll do. And the backup is the refi, okay? I can tell you that because it's in the IRA, I'm not in a hurry to cash it out. I might let it sit there and pay itself off. What's the fourth option? Call this seller back at month 30-ish and say a number of things. You could say, look, I want a year extension. I'll up my payments. Or I want a year extension, I'll give you a 1% extension fee. All kinds of things you could do. My point is, when you have a principal pay down like this, you don't worry about it because you got $40,000 buffer here. If the market dives, it's not going to, because this is a 6 unit, and the 6 unit is based on numbers, not necessarily the market, pure rents, pure, or what the NOI is, the net operating income in that commercial spreadsheet. So that's important. The 235 is your worst case. You're probably going to get a better deal. We're probably going to get a better deal on it. Okay, I said I would mention to you, we got some cool lessons here. Owner financing, how to renegotiate at the end, different exits. What would be the ideal situation with the conventional exit of selling it? The ideal situation would be to work up the rent and work down the expenses, really tighten the reins, so the NOI, the net operating income, is higher than when I bought it. Therefore, if the NOI is higher, the price is going to be higher than 280. Is that likely in the market we're in now, and with us running it professionally with a management company? Yes. And on that note, we don't run these guys. We have 2 of these in the same town, and we do not run them ourselves. We have a management company run them. They were at 8%, now they're at 7% management fee because they have 2 of ours. And just so you can see how simple this is to get leads, we bought the 4 unit on a lead from our virtual assistant. And then because the management company ran it so well, we said, let's do a mailing. We did a commercial mailing. It's only about 300 or 400 pieces. It's not big. And we got 5 or 6 leads, and this came off of that. And we bought it. And we gave it to the same management company. So that's it. It's a paper switch, a paper trail, and we get the thing running, and we get this coming into it every single month. So pretty neat for you guys to know. Now, I talked about the IRA-owned LLC. I don't want to get too deep into this, but for those of you that have even $500 in an IRA, and if you don't go do that right away, you can set up your IRA with a self-directed company. We use Quest. Look them up online. I think it's Quest Inc. Even if I'm saying 500, I think they set up with less, but let's say 500. Now, you could have done this deal with 500, but I can tell you what you can do. You set up your Quest account with 500. It's a self-directed IRA. You then, one time, not per deal like a lot of people do administratively, that's a nightmare, requesting a letter of direction of investment every time you want to do a deal. So what you do, and my mentor taught me this, is you take, let's say, $400, and you self-direct it to open and own and buy an LLC. That's the investment. Okay, that's the investment that your LLC is going to buy. Once that $400 is in here, now you don't have to ask permission and get a letter of direction every single time you go to Quest. You have this $400. What could you do with this? Only $400. You could tie up 4 properties at $100 each. And you could either sandwich lease those out, or owner financing them out, or assign out, assign back to the owner, AO. Okay, you have three or 4 choices with that. For $100, $100 option fee, and all the profits plow back into the, actually they plow back into the LLC owned right here. Could you feasibly, our average is 19 grand, but could you feasibly make 10,000 each one of these and have, in less than 6 months, let's say 12 to be obnoxiously conservative, 40,000 in this LLC that you started with $400? You absolutely could. So if you don't presently have a self-directed IRA, and you don't presently have that going to purchase an LLC, then you need to set up a strategy call with us so we can teach you how to do that. If you're a client already, you need to get on this, because this is cheap. And it's crazy not to do at least 1 deal a year in that, even if you're super young, not thinking about it yet. That's it, guys. So you got a bunch of built-in lessons there. If you have questions on this or this, by all means, let us know. Make it a great week. Okay, as a follow-up to the deal you just saw for the 6 units that actually went through my IRA, so it's pretty cool lessons built in there for you, as you saw. Here's what we did. We've got about a year left on this term, and instead of waiting and picking up what would essentially be another 12 and change of payment principal per month, so it's another 13 or 14 grand, because the market's hot right now for multis, and it's the spring, we did put this on the market. I think in the video, I know in the video I didn't put the price this high. What we ended up doing was putting the price up at $389.9. As you can see, we got a full price offer here. Right here where my cursor is, $389. So we had 3 offers right away, and one was low, one was so-so, and I told the realtor, look, just kind of get a round-robin format going where you're having them bid their highest and best, because I'm not in a hurry. And he knew it, and he's an experienced realtor, that's why I'm using him, and he got us a $389 offer. This is a no-brainer.
So what's due the seller for his payoff? The note was around 275. It's been 2 years. Let's just call it 240 for the heck of it. But we sold it for 399. I can tell you the end result because I've already calculated it. We got about 110 net going back into the IRA. So I want you to think about that. Go back to the video I just did. Notice that we actually got paid to do that, all right? Because we had the right timing of when we closed it for the rents to come in, and then we just closed it, and we just got an offer rather. We'll close that next month or whatever the date is on here. Let's take a peek together right here. It's going to close. Nope, that's the mortgage. It's going to close right here, 7/17 or sooner. See my cursor? So 110,000 plows into the IRA tax-free. How many of those do you need to do a year so that you can then become your own bank, so that you can then become very flexible in how you're doing deals, so that then you can become more aggressive, on and on and on they go, right? So learn how to do this in your IRA. Now, if you want to learn how to do this in your IRA, the owner of Quest IRA and one of his staff members will be at our QLS live event. You want to grab your ticket. You want to be there for a whole bunch of reasons, but he'll be there explaining on how to capitalize on tax-free income forever for you and your kids and your grandkids and on and on and on. Okay. Hope that helps you. Make it a great day. I want to show you guys really what comes to fruition when you bring these deals to the end and cash out.